everyone, it's me back here with another video. Today is actually my first video on this YouTube channel and I'm so excited to be showing you guys the first house I'm ever going to do on this channel. So this house is actually quite a large house. It's 3,300 square feet and today I'm only going to be showing you the kitchen. And I'm very excited to show you that because I put so much effort into this kitchen. So this is going to be very contemporary, very white and gray, neutral tones. So let's just get into the tour. So what I have highlighted right now is your open floor plan. It's your entryway and then your hallway into your living room, kitchen, and dining room. It is very, very large. I really wanted to make it very open. And then as you'll see over here to the right, we have bedroom number 2. Now this bedroom is very small. It has an attached bathroom, and so that made me think, maybe let's make this into an office. I do already have a designated office space, but it is really small, so I would love to make it into an office. This is your master bedroom. Just to give you a comparison compared to the other bedroom, it is not much larger. All the bedrooms in this house are quite tiny, but this master bedroom does have an attached closet, which none of the other bedrooms do have, but it does have a bathroom, which a few of the other bedrooms do have. Like I said earlier, this whole house is going to be very gray and white. As you see walking down this hallway, you have your cinema room, which actually ended up, in a few seconds you'll see I ended up changing to the dining room because I didn't think there'd be enough space. But then later on when I was working on the kitchen, I realized that I could delete a room and I would have even more space, and so that would turn back into the cinema room. So this is where your kitchen will be. And then yeah, I love how I laid it out. I think it's very interesting. You don't really see a lot of diagonal lines in homes, and so I'm very excited to play around with that. Then down here at the bottom, we have a small hallway, which has attached an office in bedroom number 6. It has bedroom number 5 and bedroom number 4, and then bathroom number 4. And bathroom number 4 will be the bathroom for those last 3 bedrooms I just mentioned. Then we have bedroom number 3, along with an attached bathroom for bedroom number 3 and a small powder room. So that's kind of like the whole layout of the house. I love this area because it's like the rooms hall, and I just think I'm going to make it so creative and so exciting, so I'm so excited to get started on that. But anyway, let's just jump right into doing the kitchen. I'm so excited. Okay, so going into this, I didn't really know where to start or where I wanted the kitchen, so it did take me a few times jumping into 3D, but I did end up deciding to delete that wall, and I ended up deciding to put the kitchen in that little corner, because then it would feel complete there, built up there, and then I could have a ton of other furniture in the rest of the space, which is kind of what I was going for, because I realized if I had put the kitchen there, it would have felt very awkward, kind of like in the middle of the room sort of thing, and there wasn't really a better spot for it, and so I decided to put it in this little corner that you're seeing right here. So I literally just went right in and grabbed some brown cabinets, and I've done this before. You'll see, you probably heard me say earlier that we were going to do an all white and gray theme, kind of neutral colors, so you're probably wondering why I'm putting in brown cabinets. But you will see in a little later in the video that these brown cabinets actually become white cabinets with marble countertops. Now, they don't necessarily look the most real compared to what comes with the app, but they do look very great as like a model, I guess. So not necessarily what we might think it would look like with it all touched up and built that way, but it gives us a good idea of what it would look like normally. So I was so excited going into this, and I kind of had a plan. I was grabbing small cabinets, large cabinets, all of the above. I ended up putting this sink here, and I actually ended up deciding later on in the video that I didn't like the sink there. And I ended up putting the sink in the island because I decided that was a better spot to put the range and the ovens, because I personally like the idea of having the ovens against the wall. I think sinks on the island are really nice because you could be washing dishes one night and looking out at the rest of your house, which I think is way better than looking against the wall and when you're cooking, looking out at the rest of your house. Because when you're cooking, you're busy, so there's no need to look around. But when you're washing stuff in a sink, there might be need to look around or talk with people. So over here, the cabinet proportions, sometimes you have to make them smaller or larger depending on the corner you're about to put in. So when I put this cabinet in, and then when I was looking for a corner, I realized the corner was too large and that cabinet would not be necessary anymore. So I actually ended up removing that cabinet later on once I found my corner and making it a little bit longer. Okay guys, so I just actually ended up speeding this up because I didn't really want to be talking the entire time. But like I said earlier, these are just some simple changes and I'm so excited for this house later. And I just want to talk a little bit while you're watching kind of what I told you, what's going to happen earlier, what my plans for this house are. So I know I already said the colors are going to be neutral. I've repeated myself so many times, but I really am excited for this house, and I've created a storyline, I guess, in my head a little bit. So I'm just going to share that storyline with you. So this house is actually the home of an architect herself, and she's finally been able to build her own home. She actually has 3 kids, 3 crazy children, and she has her 3 kids, and she's just living life. She, like I said, just renovated this home. Her husband is an engineer, and they're living this really super duper happy life, and everything's all great. I don't really know what else to say. I think that's really gonna be it. It's just there's 5 of them, and since it is a 6-bedroom house and really only 4 of the bedrooms will be being used, we're gonna give her and her husband separate offices, but her husband's office we're gonna put a bed in, so it would be like a mini guest bedroom. Okay, so currently actually I'm in 3D mode right now, and I was just checking to make sure everything looked okay. I didn't want anything to look too weird, and this is kind of where I got in a dilemma. I really am so OCD and anal. I really wanted this sink to be completely centered with the ovens, but then when I was going to go put in the cabinets for the island, which mind you are very, very hard to get perfectly aligned when they're not against a wall, when I was going to go put in the cabinets, I realized for it to look even with like the sink with the sink not centered in the middle of the island, but then also not centered with the stoves, it wouldn't have worked, and the stoves would have looked weird if they were all the way to one side of the wall. So I ended up just deciding to go with moving the sink further over to the left. You'll see that a little bit later, but I kind of just realized that it wasn't going to be perfect, and I had to accept that fact. Maybe we'll just say the architect was annoyed, but her husband really wanted it this way. We'll say that as part of the storyline. But yeah, I wasn't very happy with the idea of having the sink all the way to the other side of the island and not lined up with the ovens, because I know in my house, I have my sink right across from my oven, and it looks even, and I have in so many houses, and it just looks normal to have it there, and so wasn't exactly sure if it would look okay or not, but we're just gonna go with it today. We're not gonna be upset, but that's fine. So yeah, the island is almost impossible to get even. You'll notice that it's so hard because you have the little circle turny things right in the way, so you don't know if it's lined up perfectly, and then you look and you're just like, oh, that's off, but it needs to be perfect, but then not everything in life can be perfect, and so then it's like kind of like a hot mess, but it's okay. I dealt with it, and so here is me building the rest of the island. Okay guys, so I just actually sped it up a little bit because there's not too much exciting going on with the island. I do have to say though, I love the look of islands in homes. I think they're like the focal point of any home, and I just think they're so beautiful. And so for me, I really wanted to make this island stand out, and I was gonna make it a separate color from the rest of the cabinets because I think that's a really cool look in the homes. But maybe that'll be a project for later if I decide it looks better with the total look of the house. But anyway, I was getting so annoyed with how the cabinets were turning out, I actually ended up deleting everything, and I was like, okay, I have to redo this. And I don't know about you guys, but when I am working on a house, I always look at the type of cabinet, and I'm just like, I don't know if this drawer looks good next to this open cabinet, or do we have to do an open cabinet with the drawer cabinet? Like, I'm always so confused on what to put next to what, and so for me, this house was very stressful because I was like, does this look weird? Does this look too, like, matchy-matchy? Does this look too every other? We put a drawer cabinet, like, and so I was very stressed about that type of look when it came to this home. But I have to say, I'm always hopping in between 3D and 2D to look at if the cabinets look okay or look straight. So it is just a tad bit stressful, but I ended up, sometimes you get lucky and other times you don't. And when you get lucky, sometimes they line up perfectly, which is like amazing. So I was trying to figure out what to put on top of the sink over here because I wanted to know what would fit perfectly with the size of the sink, and really nothing in reality did. So I kind of just had to squeeze everything, and it ended up working out fine, but me being the stressed person I am, I had to do that. So anyway, right now I had to hop back into 3D mode just to double check, and this is actually when I started the fun part, which is painting the cabinets and putting the marble on top of the cabinets. And so, like I said earlier, I just decided to go for a white in this moment. I don't think I was really thinking about doing two-tone cabinets. I think I was mainly just thinking about getting the cabinets painted because I had been screen recording forever at this point in time. So yeah, I just painted the cabinets, and yeah. So like I just said, I just painted the cabinets white, and what's so annoying about each of these cabinets though is you literally have to paint the trim part of the cabinet, then the real, like the larger square part of the cabinet, and then you have to paint the sides of the cabinet if it's at the end of the row. Sometimes you forget, and then also the under part of the cabinet. You can't get to that sometimes without painting your flooring white, and you don't like to do that because I don't think this flooring is actually in the set lineup of floors that they have. I think this is just what you get when you build, and I really like this flooring when you build, and so I was very annoyed. That actually has happened to me before, and it's not very fun, so I always try to be very careful now when I do it. I actually just forgot to paint the edge of that last cabinet I painted, but anyway, I mean, painting cabinets is fairly easy. You can do it fairly quickly. I'm obviously in a sped up mode at this point in time, but this is fine. So, now I'm doing my favorite, which is adding the marble on. And I just think this makes a house, like, you can change this home completely by putting marble down instead of having the old granite. And so I think it's so fun to just go and do this, and it really turns a house around, and it's gorgeous. And it just works out perfectly, and it's so quick and easy. Did you see how quick that marble was? So yeah, it's so much fun. So at this point in time, I'm actually looking for upper cabinets. You thought I was done, not done yet. Very sorry, I'm taking up more time of your day. No, I actually have to put marble cabinets in now, and so, not marble cabinets, what am I saying? Upper cabinets, or overhead cabinets, whatever you want to call them. That was very stressful for me because originally I started to put them in 3D mode because I like to be able to see that easier versus switching back and forth, but then that wasn't working. As you can see now, the cabinet's turning, so I ended up just going into 3D mode and fixing it, but I did first want to see if this cabinet would fit between the fridge, so I just put it in and it fit perfectly. So then I went into 2D mode and started adding the cabinets from there. Okay, you all, so we're finally in, and like I just said earlier on in the video, sometimes you do have to spread cabinets and change their scale, so I ended up doing that, and then placing the cabinets in, I actually just copied them, and then I just slid them, which is a lot easier because they're already in the side you want. And then I ran across a dilemma. I always run across these. They're fairly easy to fix, but I had to decide if I wanted smaller cabinets right next to the stoves because I wanted these cabinets to be the same width apart. But if I were to slide it to the edge of the counter, then it would look weird without it not slided to the edge. So I ended up sliding them to the edge, and I ended up adding in another cabinet, and it didn't look terrible. So I added in this third cabinet, it looked great, but now I just had to find an end piece. So I actually ended up finding this end piece, and I ended up spreading it a little bit longer, and this ended up working out perfectly. I was so stressed over nothing, and now it was time to find a hood. So again, I'm very picky about hoods. I thought I saw this modern one, and then I was like, maybe, and then I saw this, and I was like, ew. And then I was like, okay, we'll just go with the chunky one because that one tends to work all the time. So I slid it in here, and like I said earlier, sometimes you have to change the scale, and don't freak out about it if you have to change the scale. So I changed the scale, and now it's time to take a look at it and then paint our cabinets because it's called a match, you know? So again, I just simply painted these white. I wanted to keep it simple. Didn't really want to have the upper cabinets brown because, in my opinion, that would not look great with marble. So I painted them white. Again, you struggle sometimes because you got to get the sides painted white and you can't reach the sides because there's a fridge in your way. So that was all fun. But it's really easy to paint these cabinets. It's super quick. And I mean, like I said, it's not the hardest thing at all in the world. So yeah, I mean, just painting the upper cabinets. I was kind of thinking if I wanted to paint the range or not. I couldn't really decide if I wanted to, and then I kind of just made the gut decision to not do that. Also, right now, you can probably see that the cabinet to the right of the range, that side of it isn't painted. I realized that a little later on, but it takes a while, so just chill. So originally, this was going to be my backsplash, and then I realized did the entire house. So I went back and I put the white down and I looked if I liked the white, but then I felt it was just too much white. And so that's why I actually ended up in the long run, see there, I just changed the cabinet. In the long run, I ended up choosing the gray. I just thought it had a better tone to it. It made the kitchen look better, but it did take me a while because I kept on painting the walls. So overall, guys, I'm so proud of this house. I loved it. Like I said, I accidentally painted the walls a few times. Thank you so much for watching the first part of our very first house video actually ever on YouTube. And I really love the way this kitchen turned out, and I'm so excited to do more house tours for you guys. Make sure to like this video if you really enjoyed it and subscribe down below. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.